Welcome to Pioneer Effects. Today is the 19th of June. Hope you guys are all doing well. Major change from last week with regards to the dollar. Did mention this last week. We had that 1.75 interest rate hike, biggest rate hike since '94. So this is on the cards, due to play out potentially this week. Dollar, we are extremely bearish. So do bear that one in mind. And if we are bearish on that front, that means gold is bound to push up. It's bound to push up. We're going to look into this shortly in terms of technicals, where we are most likely bound to react from. So do keep an eye out of that. The Swiss franc, there's been a major change with regards to the CFTC report. We're going to look into that. They are looking to push it up even higher. So that means volatility is bound to push up. Volatility, the VIX, is bound to push up. And if the VIX is pushing up, that means the yen is likely to push up. Swiss franc is most likely bound to push up. So we're going to be focusing on euro yen for this week, euro Swiss franc for this week. Volatility is on the bullish front. I'm going to take that out. It's bullish. But looking at the CFTC report, yes, we are bearish, but there's a few signs within the report that's telling me that volatility is bound to push up. Number one, the yen is bound to push up. Swiss franc is bound to push up. The gold is most likely bound to push up. So what does that mean for the volatility? It's bound to push up too. So I think with regards to the numbers in terms of volatility, the VIX reports, that is, I think they're lying on with regards to taking it down. I mean they could be right, but I feel like that is the only sort of missing puzzle with regards to volatility. So we're going to be focusing on the dollar, euro yen, euro Swiss franc. Euro AUD is still bound to push even lower, since we do know gold is bound to rise. That means Australia is bound to push up, as well as EURNZD. And basically all these trades here that we're going to be focusing on for this upcoming week. So with that being said, let's push over to the charts. Let us focus mainly on the dollar first, DXY. Let's have a look at the dollar currency index, see where we are, see where we're heading to. So looking at this from a 4-hourly perspective, yes, that's been the biggest rate hike. I feel like there's a lot of traders actually buying the dollar as we speak. So, and looking at the numbers and the reports, they're looking to take it out of the way first. So we can say that in this area here, there's been a slight consolidation and price pushed back into that consolidated range. So now what I'm expecting to see with regards to the dollar is a breakout from this consolidated range, or potentially an impulsive move. Then we can get back on the retracement for it to continue further down to these territories over here. So first we need to see that impulsive wave. From the impulsive wave, we can draw that trend line, perhaps. If we see that impulsive wave push down, that means the sales have been triggered. Sales have been triggered here. The moment we've seen that, then we need to see that retracement. And from the retracement, we can look for entries. But for now, we'll just see what happens during market open, potentially through to Monday/Tuesday. Then I'll keep you guys updated with regards to where we are with the dollar. Let's push over to gold. Gold now has been consolidating since May. Since last month, it's been in this range here. Yeah. So, and this was that impulsive wave that will push down. It's been consolidated here quite heavily. You can see wicks to the downside, wicks to the downside. What's that implying? Stop losses potentially being triggered here. Stops were hunted here. So now what I'm expecting to see is at least an impulsive wave of some sort, a breakout. So we've had that breakout here, which is more like a fake out. This was a fake out here. Let's class this as a fake out or / stop hunt. So that was the stop hunt there. That was the stop hunt over here. This is, we can class this as a consolidated range. So we can just put it like that. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on that. So what we need to see now is a real move to the upside. Yeah, once we get that real push up, we're not going to jump into that. We're not going to jump into gold straight away the moment we see an impulsive wave. Okay, we're going to see that impulsive wave, then potentially a pullback. When we see that pullback, when we do see a pullback, then we are all clear to potentially push higher. So we need to see two things first. We need to see the rise. Yeah. The moment we see the rise, we look for that pullback. The moment we get the pullback, then we'll look to jump into gold, but not yet. Not yet. It's still very, very, very fresh for gold to push higher. So that's that one in terms of gold. I will actually send out the technicals the moment we do see this sort of play take this sort of play being taken over, then I'll be able to send out the technicals in terms of entries and where we're most likely bound to head to. But for now, we're just coming up with the idea as to how we will jump onto and make profit from these trades. Euro AUD, this one was very, very interesting. Reason being is, yes, we did break out from the channel. I did mention that we could potentially see a push higher, but price came back into the range for those who did manage to sell it from these highs. Now is potentially another opportunity for you guys to grab another sell opportunity, another selling opportunity, but I wouldn't jump onto this one just yet until we see some more clarity. There's some more clarity in terms of technicals. Let me just clear this, because we can say that price has been very, very, very choppy in these regions here. So you can see accumulation, push down, accumulation, push up, accumulation, push down, and accumulation, push up. So you can see that what the big boys are currently doing is they're just accumulating orders and taking it the other way, basically triggering as many stop losses as possible before the real move. This was a real move there, right here. Major move to the downside. You can see now it's been in that consolidated phase since March. So I'm expected to see a major move to the south side. So we need to bear patience. We need to look into the technicals as much as possible, and then perhaps look for entries. But I wouldn't get into this one just yet until we see some clearance, basically. So what I'm expecting to see for this one here, in order for us to get into this, is potentially a breakout of this trend line. So the moment we see price maybe consolidated in this area, then we see that breakout, we look for that retest of this trend line to jump onto this trade to push down lower. So we need to see this break first. So this is the idea. We need to see that break first. We need to see a clear break from this. I'll cloud this area actually, I'll circle it. We need to see a break. Actually, that's not good. Let's cloud it. Then we need to see a break, a clear break from this area over here. We need to see a clear break from this region here. Highly, very, very consolidated. We need to see a clear break of this trend line, and then that impulsive move, then we can dive into EURAUD shorts. But for now, it's still in accumulation distribution mode. EURNZD, similar to EURNZD, similar to EURAUD. Again, it's just been accumulating, pushing down, accumulation. So it's just been accumulating orders. Okay, this whole entire region, we need to see a clear break from it. In terms of trends, you can class this as a trend line here. We need to see a clear break of this trend line, clear break of this trend line. Clear break of this trend line, as well as this consolidated region, getting from the pullback to push down lower. Volatility, let's jump into volatility. Volatility is very, very interesting. Reason being now is looking at this from a technical stance. It has been accumulating many orders from these highs. Okay, and I did mention to you guys, I am expecting to see a pullback of some sort first, which we did get. We didn't quite get a deeper pullback, and then it retraced back up to accumulate more orders for traders to obviously sell because they're looking left. What we could see from here now, what we could see from this area over here is two scenarios being played out. Number one, we could see a massive impulse wave or massive push to the upside, direct towards 50. Because of Swiss franc pushing higher, the yen pushing higher, and gold rising. So we could see the volatility pick up. So day trading will be perfect for potentially next week if we do see volatility push higher, or we could see volatility push down first before pushing up. But I highly anticipate volatility pushing up initially. So we'll see how that will play out due to the fact that there's a lot happening around the world. So we looked at EURNZD, we looked at EURAUD. I will be sending these ones out as soon as we get some clear guidance. Euro Swiss franc. This one here, it has broken out. It has broken out of this accumulation mode, accumulation phase, we could say. So I'm interested in this one now. What I'm interested to see, so it made that impulsive wave, it made that clear. You see it was accumulating orders in these areas here, accumulation, distribution, accumulation here. This whole entire region was consolidated, and now it just made the move last week actually. So this is very interesting to me. So what we need to do now is, this was the last sort of impulsive wave. We could either put our fibs here or above here, just to be on the safe side. We'll place it here. So what I'm expecting to see now is a retracement first to confirm this move even further lower. So we need to see a retracement towards these highs potentially, 38.2, before continuation to the downside, or even deeper towards the 618 before pushing down. So we need to see that retracement first. Then we can see a continuation to the downside. So this has activated the move to push down. So we're looking for that retracement, then we can jump onto this trade. I wouldn't recommend jumping into this one just yet until we get a deeper retracement. NZD USD, we've been looking for longs for quite some time now. It made that massive push down. This was since April, actually. It made 700 pips to the south side because a lot of traders, they were buying this move pushing up. You can see here, price broke out of this range, retested, and it continued to melt down. So what to expect now from these areas, from these regions? You can say that this is our consolidated range. Okay, price pushed up, price pushed lower. It made a double bottom here. It's broken out of this trend line. It's broken out of the trend line. It's come for the retest. I wouldn't actually jump into this one just yet because we are still within this consolidated range. This could just be a fake out. It could actually do this. What I'm expecting to see, it could actually potentially do that. Wipe out as many buyers as possible before pushing higher. Or what we could see is the accumulation distribution phase is potentially bound to be cleared. What I'm expected to see is potentially an impulsive wave to the upside. The moment we get impulsive wave, we're looking to jump on from the correction to push up higher. So we need to see two scenarios played out. That another impulsive wave to the upside, grab as many orders as possible. The moment we get a pullback, then we're interested to jump into this one, or a push down to the downside. This is going to be a lot more risky actually. When the moment it pushes down, to look for longs in this area is basically risky because it broke out of this support region. It could potentially push down even lower. So I wouldn't recommend jumping into this one, but it is a lot more riskier. Looking at it from a standard deviation perspective, let me just close the standard deviation. It's currently sitting at standard deviation minus 1.3, and it made the recent lows of minus 2.4 in this area. So it's bound to push higher. It's bound to push higher. But still within this consolidated sort of range. So I wouldn't recommend jumping in just yet. Similar to AUDUSD, you can say that it made that impulsive move. It came for the retest and it just started melting from these highs. What I believe now is, I feel like this is all just a gimmick. Just trying to attract as many traders to the south side to potentially get in on this short front. I wouldn't recommend going long on this just yet. What I'm expecting to see, similar to NZD USD, this one. Similar, but not exactly the same, but you can say, yeah, there's that support there. There's a resistance right here. This is that sort of consolidated region. So in order for us to jump into this one, expected to see an impulsive wave to the upside, clear breakout. Then we're looking to jump in the moment we get a decent pullback to push up higher. So that is the idea, or similar to the previous one we looked at, a breakout here, stop loss hunt, a pullback into this region, impulse wave, retest, continuation. Euro yen. This is an interesting one. Again, it's been pushing up higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Looking at it from a standard deviation perspective, again, it's a very interesting level. It made highs of +3 from these highs over here. Price pushed away. So this is what activated actually the shorts. You can say that price broke out of this trend, but it didn't quite come back for that retest, did it? You can say it broke out of this range here, and it sort of made a retest in this area here, and price just pulled away. Made that impulsive, retest, impulsive, and now it's just come back to stop out traders who entered these areas over here. So what to expect now is traders are obviously looking at this trend line here. A lot of traders, this finished on a Friday actually. A lot of traders will be buying this. I feel like this is a major trap. What I'm expecting to see is potentially through Monday, push down into this area, get back onto the retest. Then I'm interested to short this one to go down. So I'm looking for that impulsive wave down, retest, and then we're looking to jump into this one. But this one, not just yet, because it broke this trend line here, it could potentially push higher. But I feel like this is all a fake out anyway for Euro Yen. I'm going to look into the numbers now, shortly. I'm going to look into the numbers, the CFTC report, just to confirm these moves. But Euro Yen's looking very interesting from these highs, actually, from these highs. So we looked at all these pairs that are most likely bound to play out through to this week. Let's dive into CFTC reports. Trading stir. So let's start off with Australia. Last update was on the 14th of June last week. Retail traders, now pay attention to this, retail traders are 51% short and 48% long. So that means it's all clear to push higher. And guess what? Commercial hedgers have started to give up their contracts, going from being long. They've given up their contracts. So we're bound to see AUD push higher. And large speculators have started to push higher from these lows, and retail traders are obviously looking at this move here and selling, which is exactly what we want. So Australia is a 2-star for me. Let's have a look at the pound. Pound. Retail traders are heavily short, 63% short. Commercial hedgers have given up their contracts from long. They've given up their contracts, so that means it's bound to push higher. Large speculators are high. And look at this, retail traders have started to short. So pound to the upside. 2-star trade for me. Canada, let's have a look at Canada. Canada, 56% long and 43% short. Retail traders are shorting this. Hedgers are heavily short. So that means Canada is bound to push higher. However, I don't like these numbers here in terms of retail traders. So I wouldn't give this a 2-star. I'll probably just give this a 1 star. So do be careful of Canada. do be very careful. Not looking to trade Canada because it's not quite clear as to where they're looking to take it. Euro, look at that, retail traders 63% long, exactly where we want them, exactly where we want them. And this is the major change. This is the major change from last week. Massive, massive push higher from the lows, commercial hedges, and retail and large speculators heavily short. So what does that mean? It could only mean one thing. Massive meltdown for euro is basic. This is going to be a 3-star for me. 3-star, 2 to 3-star for euro. So do keep an eye out of euro for potentially through to this week. If not this week, the next. Yen, this is interesting. Look, the yen, they're 63% short. And look at this. Large speculators have increased their contracts even further to push higher. Commercial hedges giving up the contracts from long, the yen to the upside. Yen to the upside. Swiss franc, same as the yen. 70% short. And look at this, guys. This is a major, major move. So definitely looking to trade this. Speculators overall long, and they've increased their contracts even further. Retail traders heavily short. Commercial hedges giving up their contracts. Boom, to the upside, to the upside, to the moon. To the moon, Swiss franc. Dollar index. Dollar index. Look at this, 70% long. Retail traders are heavily long, heavily long. However, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this at all. Large speculators have increased going long. I feel like this is a trap. And commercial hedges have increased going short. So what does that mean? That means we could potentially have a push higher for the dollar, slightly higher, and then down to the downside. The moment we start to see hedges giving up the contracts heavily, then we can see the dollar push down lower. So what does that mean in terms of the reports? As I said, we could potentially have a slight push higher, and then the moment we start to see a major change from the contracts, you can see the dollar to the downside. In terms of stars, for dollar to push higher, potentially through to this week, I would give that potentially a 1 star. However, I don't like these numbers here. I don't like these numbers at all. I feel like they're just making it up. It's just due to the fact that we saw yen pushing up, Swiss franc pushing up, pound pushing up. That's telling me the dollar is most likely bound to melt. I could be wrong. Mexican peso. This is interesting. Overall, retail traders are heavily long. And speculators have decreased their contract big time. Look at that massive move to the downside. And commercial hedges, massive move to the upside. So what does that mean? Short Mexican peso. I'll give that a 2 star. And last but not least, New Zealand, 70% short. New Zealand to the upside. New Zealand to the upside. Look at that massive change from large speculators. Hedges giving up their contracts. 3 star for New Zealand. That's it really in terms of the CFTC report. Let's just have a look at gold just before we finish up. So there's a contradiction with gold now because retail traders are 67% long. Large speculators are overall short. And hedges have given up their short contracts, so that means gold to the downside. However, I'm not liking these numbers similar to the dollar. I'm expecting to see gold to push up and the dollar to push lower. So yeah, the dollar to push lower. Bitcoin, actually, did you guys see what happened to Bitcoin this weekend? This thing absolutely tanked. Absolutely tanked. I actually missed this movement, but it is what it is. Don't really trade cryptos, but very interesting to see. So, and this happened during the weekend. So what does that mean? What does that mean now? Volatility could rise. There could be massive moves in terms of currencies as well as commodities for this upcoming week. So that's a sign for us that there's going to be major moves this upcoming week. Let's have a look at my FX book in terms of any sort of economic sentiment bound to push currencies either way. So Monday, relatively quiet. Tuesday, we've got RBA low minutes, meeting minutes for RBA. High risk there. Retail sales for Canada. Not looking to trade Canada this week anyway. Dollar existing home sales. Don't think that's that important, but yeah. We've got the BOJ meeting minutes. I'll be looking out for that for yen. What could shift our fundamental bias? We've got the core inflation rate for the pound. So this is a big one. Inflation rate for the pound on Wednesday at 6 a.m. Inflation rate for Canada. So this week is an inflation rate week for the majors, by the looks of it. PMIs for Australia, the market PMIs, not the real one. Thursday now, we've got PMIs for Euro market PMIs. So we've got PMIs and inflation for the majors for this week, and for the pound as well, 9:30 on Thursday. So Thursday looks like it's going to be a heavily impactful week. So, and on Friday we've got the consumer confidence. That's about it. An inflation rate for the yen for the 24th. Oh, and not to mention, we've got on Monday, I think it's bank holiday for the dollar. So tomorrow, I think it's going to be really quiet in terms of dollar movements and potentially gold movements, but who knows, I could be wrong. Pound, we've got retail sales at 7 a.m. On the 24th. Let's have a look at Forex Factory, because sometimes we miss out something from Forex Factory as well as the MyFX, but sometimes there's missing information. So it's good to look at both of them rather than just one. Yeah, so I was right. Yeah, all day bank holiday on Monday for the dollar. So we could have some movements during UK session, but the dollar later on in the afternoon, are likely bound to see it sort of fade down, or not much of a movement potentially on Monday. Is there any questions before I finish up? Any questions? Well, I hope you guys have a pleasant week. Plenty of pips on the horizon, actually. So I will be sending out the technicals later on. The moment we start to see them playing out, that's when I will sort of screenshot them and send them across to you guys. For now, looking at it from this front here, I will actually be patient for these trades to play out first before jumping into them. So I wouldn't jump into them just yet. The only one I will be interested in to jump in potentially is Euro Swiss franc. At the moment we start to see a minor pullback into these areas for it to push down lower. It has broken out of that trend. I'm looking for that nice, lovely shift up here. Then I'll be interested. Euro Swiss franc, looking at that potentially Monday/Tuesday. But for now, these ones here, I'm not looking to buy this one just yet until we start to see some clarity as to where they're looking to take it. EURNZD, still waiting for that. Euro AUD, still waiting for that. Gold, still in consolidation, so still waiting for these trades to play out. But for now, keep your eyes on Euro Swiss franc, potentially through Monday, Tuesday / Tuesday. Actually, screenshot this and send it across right now. Actually, stops will be placing them just above this area here, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, this is interesting. Any questions before I finish up? Well, I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I shall see you guys on Wednesday. Thanks very much once again. Take care. Bye for now.